Flash.
Fast as fuck, boy. Man.
It was
movie.
good.
It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
It's pretty good. Directed by Andy Muschietti. And, Barry Allen was played by Ezra Miller.
We know how you guys feel about him.
How you guys feel about him, but I think he acted his butt off. But we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We had our boy Michael Keaton in there, my favorite, one of my favorite Batmans, who's from the original Batman and then also Batman Returns. Then you also have Ben Affleck, of course, because it's a whole time travel thing. Michael Keaton in the timeline that Barry Allen messes up. And then you have Ben Affleck in the regular timeline before it's all jacked up. Ben Affleck as Batman. And then you have Sasha Calle, who plays Supergirl. And then you have Michael Shannon, who's back as General Zod. This is all in the trailer, by the way, who is obviously in the messed up timeline. And so those are our main people pretty much. And
Yeah, so this movie here is basically going to be the Flash movie, obviously. But this is his story as far as what was going on during the whole Superman event, when he was first fighting Zod and everything in the back as far as how he got his powers, it kind of gives you the backstory on Ezra. Right. And he goes in and tries to, obviously, like every other Flash, goes back and tries to do something, and that causes a whole flashpoint. We call it a flashpoint because if you know your comics and you know your DC history, that is probably the biggest thing that's a no-no, but he goes and does it anyway.
Right.
And that's what the movie is about.
Yep, he's basically changing something in the past that messes up the future he tries to get back to, and we'll explain all that in a spoiler, but we'll just kind of get to, box office, budget, ratings, and then we thought about it and move on to spoilers.
Yeah.
So, the box office gained $135.7 million worldwide for its opening weekend, which isn't that great. It's not great at all. The budget was $200 million, but with all the advertising and stuff, you might as well double that to $400 million. So I'm sure it'll get up there slowly but surely, but they expected this movie to kind of, I guess before Ezra Miller stuff happened, they expected it to kind of take off. That's why they kept it going, because they're like, spent too much money on it. You got all these big actors in here and everything like that. So let's keep it out. A lot of different people worked on this movie. It was a really good movie to me. I think also to Sal. So I agree with them in terms of they should have kept the movie going, because it's not just Ezra. Even though this is his movie, this is a big project that took a lot of people to make it work. Especially my boy Michael Keaton. Batman look over here.
Man, blast from the past. That was awesome seeing him. Yeah. All right, so as far as ratings, Rotten Tomato was at 66%. IMDb was at 7.3 out of 10. Google users are at 86%. Popcorn score is 84%. And pretty much, it's about right there. Ezra, man, I just found out about all the allegations, so I'm sorry, guys. I didn't know. I went to go see the movie, but man, he really did do some badass acting.
So what's your rating?
All right, so my rating on this one's going to be 8 out of 10.
Okay.
8 out of 10 because I really enjoyed it as far as just the whole Flashpoint, bringing all the old characters back. I give it an 8 though, just because I wanted to see a little bit more of his backstory. Like they showed it briefly, but I feel like they kind of went through it real fast. Then him go, I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go and spoil it now.
We're about to jump into spoilers, guys, but I also give it 8 out of 10. I love the action. Even with the whole Ezra thing going on, he did act his butt off, and we'll explain in the spoiler section why. But he had to do a lot of things in this movie that really showcase his acting skills. And also what we were kind of missing from him in the Justice League, I feel like. He really portrayed himself a lot better in this movie. Maybe because it's his own movie, he gets to be showcased more. The running in the movie still, I got to get kind of used to it. It's still, I know, it makes sense the way they explain it, but it's still weird. We'll explain more in the spoiler. My boy Michael Keaton did his thing.
Yeah, he did.
That's my boy. What happens when you add technology to a Batman that was from the 1980s,
Yeah,
1986, I think.
Yep.
I mean, what happens? You get a kick-ass Batman.
Yeah, man.
And so he brought the thunder, which we'll explain later. But that's also the reason I bumped it on up, because it was kind of around that 7 range. But 8 out of 10 for me. I really enjoyed the action. I thought they did some great things. I want a little more out of some characters, and also out of Ezra himself in certain situations. But overall, 8 out of 10.
Yep.
So.
I think that's it, huh?
Yeah,
Spoilers?
We're gonna jump into spoilers, guys.
All right. So like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. Share, because that does help the channel.
Yes.
And shoot, jump right into spoilers.
Let's get it.
You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Yeah, so
Spoilers.
it was, I don't know, I liked it. I enjoyed it. We can start from the beginning though, but basically Ezra is trying to change the past. You know, his mom died, and so, you know, the police blamed it on his father because she's holding him. There's no evidence of anybody else. If you've seen the comics and stuff, you know what happened. But basically, they blame him because he's the only one at the scene.
Mm-hmm.
But Ezra knows he was at the store getting some stuff from the store.
Yep.
But they don't know that because his head was down. So this basically propels him to go back in time to basically, because it was something, his dad had to go get some sauce for the pasta. Tomato sauce.
Yep.
But his mom forgot it. So, of course, sends the husband to go get it. And this is when she basically dies. He comes back. He's at the crime scene. He gets blamed. So Ezra goes back in time, puts the tomato sauce in her cart, and that's when everything changes and goes to shit.
Yeah, because you can't go back in the past and change something and expect it not to have a gigantic impact in what's going on in the future.
Yep.
So when he does this, he goes back in the past and makes it to where his mom never forgot the tomato sauce. Little does he know, he kind of stopped all mutants from being born. You know, in the future, there is no, Superman, there's no...
Yeah, there's no Superman, there's Supergirl.
Yep.
There's no Ben Affleck, there's Michael Keaton.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think was an awesome choice. I wish I kept it like that, but go ahead.
But at that, he wasn't even Batman.
Well, yeah, he was retired or whatever. Retired.
Nobody needed him anymore.
Nobody needed him, or he just was drinking, living his best life, had long hair.
Man, you think I have long hair? That fool has some long hair, man.
Yeah, so living his best life, and then here comes Ezra Miller with his other, messed up future self, Ezra Miller.
That's the part we forgot to put in. So he goes and does this change in the past, but he gets stuck in the past. Well, he gets stuck in the...
knocks him out. Well, I guess we skipped that too. Well, basically, he's changing time, so he's basically running in his own... He's running basically faster than the speed of light.
He's in the Speed Force.
He's in the Speed Force, changing time itself to go back in time. So he's going back in time, and after putting the tomato sauce in there and everything, he's trying to come back to the timeline he was at, but then something knocks him out of it. Knocks him out of the Speed Force, and he ends up in this timeline where it turns out that Zod was there taking over the planet, so it's kind of back to Man of Steel.
Yep.
And basically, that's where he runs in. He's mom, everything's good. Then he runs into his college self. That's not really him, but his college self, in a messed up timeline.
And this is where we say you really get to see Ezra shine as an actor, because not only is he playing a more mature version of himself from the future, he has to play the immature, sloppy, not so great fucking younger version.
Yeah, bad laugh, bad everything.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy, bad choice in friends, which his friends were... It was weird because his friends were completely different from his timeline of friends, and they met at different times, I think, as well. Or did they meet in college? Yeah, they met in college.
Met different times because the ones that he had were work.
At work.
Yeah.
And these he met in college, and he lived with them in college.
Yeah.
So it's pretty weird. But, that's what happens when you mess up the timeline.
Yeah, and it's crazy because he said that the first time in his life when he went through it, it was he was kind of isolated. He didn't really have social skills. But then in this timeline, he's friends. He has half-naked people in his room. I mean, man, it was crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of naked people, because even Ezra gets naked in one scene, or
True.
his future self, because, you know, he's basically like, well, maybe, well, this is a time where you gain your powers. If you don't gain your powers, I don't gain my powers, because this is supposedly, you know, future past type deal, past. And so Ezra's like, okay, you gotta get your powers. So he goes through the same reaction that, you know, same events that he went through for the past, his past Ezra, because he doesn't get back to the future. So we're still in the past Ezra Miller, his college life, and he gets his powers, but our Ezra Miller loses his powers.
Yep.
But so this guy's running the college Ezra Miller's running through. He's like, oh, I got superpowers, running fast and everything, and then his clothes rip because you know you gotta have special clothing, and he's naked.
Friction.
Yeah. And he causes some damage. He causes a lot of damage.
Man.
That just shows you what probably all of us would do. You know, run crazy, run wild, but then you cause so much destruction that it's like, dang, I need to learn how to master this thing. And so kind of opens his eyes. But
yeah, and he didn't understand like the future. Ezra, he had a suit where he had it down to like to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a little
as soon as
cloth
it
wash.
popped out,
Yep.
it didn't. Before it even landed on the ground, he had it on. You know.
Yeah,
so
he had a whole
that's cool.
routine. The watch would tell him how much power he had, how much energy, you know, take breaks. The younger Ezra didn't understand that, so he was always sleeping, always eating, always tired, out of energy, and
Yeah, so
as time goes by, again, they're back in Man of Steel, so Ezra, being the Flash, has to do something because Superman is not around. Again, he changed everything, so the timeline is just out of whack. Matter of fact, Superman died. Like, he wasn't even born. Well, he was born, but he didn't even make it to
he
Earth.
died as a baby. Yeah, and you know, Supergirl's going after him, trying to take care of him on Earth, not realizing that Zod killed Superman as a baby. And Zod was like, we realized, you know, another timeline. Realized Superman wasn't the one we were after; it's you we're after. So
you have the Codex.
Yeah, that's way later on. But basically, like you said, he realizes, oh, there's no Superman, so there's only one other person I can go to, Batman. But it wasn't Ben Affleck; it was Michael Keaton,
the original
OG, triple OG.
Seriously,
I think
you said 80s. Yeah, I think it was 84, 86.
84, 86, where he faced the first Joker. Well, not really the first Joker, but one of the best Jokers to ever play Joker. And then I think in Batman Returns he faces Penguin, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Penguin and Jim
that
Carrey, wasn't it?
I don't think
Question
so.
mark?
Jim Carrey was with Mr. Freeze.
Okay, you're right.
That was in... Yeah, so we'll get back to that. But, yeah, we know our Batman just, you know,
a little off. This timeline kind of threw us off.
We're thrown off with the timeline. But anyway... Yeah, but, you know, runs into Mike Keaton. He's like, yeah, I'll help. Even though he's been retired for a while, he's still Batman. He's smart as hell. He's he can still fight, all that kind of stuff. But then they realize, oh, he's trying to find Superman. And he's like, oh, crap, Supergirl. Or he doesn't until
they
he
don't
gets
know.
there.
Yep.
And this one's played by Sasha Calle. And I think, so I'm going to throw...
Sasha Calle was pretty good. She was alright. She was okay. Supergirl in this one.
Yeah.
Batman, Flash, both Flashes. They go to this Russian military base where she's kept under lock and key. They bust her out and they get her in front of the sun because they're about to just get caught. I mean, Batman did everything he could, but there was just too many military personnel. They were undergunned, outnumbered, and she gets in the sun. Like always, Superman gets his powers from the sun, and she went off. I mean, that was real good, the way she went off.
Yeah. That was pretty cool. Pretty cool action scene,
Yeah, and she was weak. I mean, she was weak as hell.
She was bony.
Yeah, like bony.
And then all of a sudden she, you know, so.
You see her skin start filling in and there. I thought that was pretty cool. Those effects right there, that was good.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, we'll get to what we hate later. But anyway, she goes after Zod, and towards the end, you know, they're all fighting. They're fighting Zod's army, everything like that. And Mike Keaton's going at it. Ezra's going at it. She's going at it, but then... She dies. Michael Keaton dies.
It starts getting bad.
It starts getting really bad.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think Ezra realized that, you know, not everything is meant to be changed. You know, there's I think Batman, Michael Keaton explained it, that, you know, you go and try to mess with the universe and the timelines, there's point of intersections that are just, that's going to happen. You know, this is a point that, you know, it's inedible. And no matter how many times, because the mature Ezra, Flash tries to go back in time and do it one more time. So he teaches the younger Ezra how to do it.
Then when he realizes it doesn't work, they're going to die anyway, because they died again, and just in a different way. And he's like, it's not going to work. And like you said, the younger Ezra, the college Ezra's like, no, we got to try again. So he's running. And then Ezra's like, stop. So he's running after him. And then they just keep doing it. And, you know, they keep dying. And then so finally Ezra's like, hey, you got to stop this. And he's got like this shrapnel sticking out of his arm from the war, basically. Yeah. And he's got this stuff sticking out of his arm. And he's like, you know, no, I'm going to keep doing it. Get out of my way.
Yep.
And then that's what leads to what knocked him out of the Speed Force before, which was basically an older version of him constantly running through time, trying to change it.
Yeah, trying to save Batman and Supergirl. Like literally, it was the younger Ezra just stuck in that loop trying to fix it. Because he overheard Michael Keaton and the older Ezra, the original Flash that started everything, talking about how he originally went back to save the mom. So that kind of hit him hard, because it's like, whoa, you came back. And that's one of the biggest rules that they talked to Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck talked about. You can't go in the past and tell your past self what you're doing. And he did, and that really messed with the younger.
He tried to change it, and then he became this really old. Well, there's 3 different versions of him. That's why we said Ezra Miller acted his butt off. He acted his regular self, his college self, and his really, really old self that's been running trying to change this timeline. He's like, I think I figured it out. And he's like just covered in the shrapnel and all jacked up, really old.
Like,
and,
while he was fighting, he didn't ever take off any of the punctures or any of the damn things that people threw at him. Like, he's seriously just running with a whole bunch of wounds.
It's crazy. And all this is going on, and then the different universes start to collide, and we get to see the very first Superman and all this kind of stuff, and Nicolas Cage's Superman.
Like, what?
It's crazy. You know, he had long hair.
Yeah,
you know, it's cool if it wasn't CGI. Which, you know, the director tried to say it was on purpose, that when he's in the time or the Speed Force, that what we see is different because, you know, the speed, the lighting and stuff isn't the same through our eyes. But at the end of the day, we're watching the movie. We don't care.
It don't make sense, though, because while he's in the Speed Force, he's looking at all the different variations of what's going on, and they look pretty damn clear.
Right.
So the fact that only for these other universes it's blurry, that kind of didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. It was kind of an excuse, I feel like, but at the end of the day, the action was awesome. The story was great to me. You know, everything was just awesome. We got to see that, even though it was CGI, we got to see Nicolas Cage as Superman, which is weird.
What a mullet.
Yeah, never want to see it, but it was cool seeing the fan. That was like a fan favorite a long time ago. And we got to just see different worlds colliding, different universes colliding. And so that's when they kind of, you know, obviously at the end, he fixes everything. He has to go back in time, all this kind of stuff. Well, I think the young or the old one tries to take out our Ezra Miller. He takes out his younger self, which takes him out. So that handles it for Ezra. I think that was kind of cheap. It's like, I wanted them to start going at it. But anyway.
With all this, he finally realizes he has to let his mom go.
It ain't worth it. Yeah, just let it go.
So he went back to what he originally wanted to stop and say goodbye to his mom. I think that was the biggest thing, because he never got to.
Took the tomato sauce out of the cart. Had to let it go. But then his dumb butt decides to change it to where
he does the whole change it.
He still changes it. So I'm like, dude, what did you didn't learn anything. You're like, I'm not going to change this part, but I'm going to change this part. It's just like, so he messed with the video camera, and it had it to where it showed the dad's face or whatever. And it's just like, come on, man, really?
Yeah, because like I mentioned before, the dad, he was caught in camera but never looked up. He finally moves the tomato sauce to the top row. The dad looks up to get the tomato sauce. Camera catches him. Boom.
And he wins the court case when he gets back to the future. But of course, everything's changed, and here comes George Clooney as Batman, and he's like, "Why are you here?" Like, he's so confused. He's like, "You're not Batman." He's like, George Clooney's like, "What's wrong with you?" Because he changed the freaking everything. So,
and he might not remember this, but he's still friends with Batman, and George Clooney is the
like,
Batman. So
he's like, "What are you talking about? What's wrong with you?" And so, anyway, that's the movie, guys.
Yep.
We thought it was really good. The action was awesome. Story was awesome. The CGI
needed
not so
some help.
great. It needed some help. The love connection they tried to make with Iris West, it didn't work.
No.
It was very cheesy. Maybe another movie it'll work. Obviously, without Ezra, they're not going to show him again. R.I.P. Ezra. You did your thing in this movie. You just didn't do your thing outside the movie.
That's crazy, dude.
That's crazy. That's why
man.
you dropped the bag. You dropped
it big time, bro.
You dropped the bag.
If you're watching this, man, I think you did a great job, but get your shit together.
Get it together. Get some help, man.
Yeah.
But, that's our review for The Flash, guys.
Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See ya.
Peace.